Hello and welcome to another podcast. I'm Fettouhi. Let's talk games. Well, it's been a week almost, or a little bit over a week. Anyways, I've been great. Actually, been watching a lot of movies instead of actually playing a lot of games. Or actually, I've been doing both, but I haven't gotten farther in Killzone 3. I've put it down a bit. Gone back to some older games. I actually forgot to tell you last time that I actually played some Steam games that I bought. Really cool. I'll get into that a little bit later. But let's check out what's up and running around the gaming news. Let's check out actually what's out on PlayStation right now, which should be up today. Actually, was up to yesterday. Limbo should be out now, if I'm not mistaken, on PlayStation. Give me the European blog, and give me some gaming category. And there we go. It's up story. Yeah, there we go. I think the Limbo should be out, if I remember. Limbo PS3. Come on. I know it's out on. Let's see here. Why the hell do I always get those crappy websites when I search something on Google? Give me something I can use. PSN, PS blog. PlayStation blog, GameSpot. Yeah, it should be out. PC has been out for a couple of weeks. It should be out yesterday or the day before. I don't know if it's in Europe, but at least it should be in. I haven't booted up my PlayStation. It should be out on the US. Give me a second. I'm just gonna check. Getting that. Games. PlayStation Store update. Give me. Limbo. For crying out loud, stop pissing me off. Weird. Well, it should be out. I don't know why the hell it's not. Well, anyways, Limbo is definitely out on. I heard Nimboy playing it yesterday from the Speed Gamers, so it's definitely out on Steam. Anyways, let's check out what actually is out. If this stupid website will load, there we go. Let's see here. Ubisoft with a special offer selection available until August 10th. On Europe, we have Prince of Persia plus Epilogue DLC. And that's probably the PS3 game. There's Prince of Persia HD Trilogy. There's the PSN bundle Prince of Persia Classic plus Cell Factor. There's the PSN bundle Scott Pilgrim Wizards of the World and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Reshelled and Voodoo Dice. There's a bundle there. Assassin's Creed is on sale. Rainbow Six Vegas 2 is also on sale. I think it's like 30% off or something around that. Permanent price reductions. Tomb Raider 1, Tomb Raider 3, Tomb Raider Last Revelation PS1, Tomb Raider Chronicles, Gex, and Legacy of Kain. And Stoltner X2 is also on sale. Trial and Track Unlock, 3D Ultra Mini Golf Adventures 2. Who cares? Full games. PlayStation 3, back to review the game, episode 5. Really great game. Check it out if you have the money to buy all 5 episodes. Or you can actually check it out on Telltale's game, buy it for your PC if you want that. Echochrome 2 and the official soundtrack bundle. If you want the soundtrack from Echochrome 2, Fat Prince's Supersized Anniversary bundle is also out. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is downloadable. We have Dragon Age Origins also downloadable if you want, for instance, don't want to go to the store and just get that in the middle of the night. Section 8 also. Fairy Tale Adventure Pack, and you can also buy the 3D Ultra Mini Golf Adventures if you want that. Some Neo Geo for the PlayStation, Kings of Fighters 95. Some really stupid Danish game, which I'm not going to announce because you probably won't understand what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm going to skip that. Ducati Challenge, Monochrome Racing, Arcade Sports Bundle. Neo Geo for PlayStation. So if you're a big Neo Geo fan, there are some fighting games coming out there, some racing games, arcade. Then was Rugby World Cup 2011. So rugby people. And this rugby is not available in Croatia, Czech Republic, Germany, India, Kuwait, Poland, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Turkey, Ukraine, United Arab, and a lot of countries. I definitely disagree with locking up all this. That's stupid. Anyways, and of course some add-ons. Brink add-on Agents of Change. Yeah, I haven't played Brink, or have played Brink, and it's not that good actually. Too much, in my opinion. Team Fortress instead of doing more Borderlands. Dynasty Warriors 7, some add-ons for that, some add-ons for Magic the Gathering, Mod Nation Raiders add-ons, Little Big Planet 2, Rock Band Network, Rock Band Free, Buzz, and a shitload of avatars. Free Dynamic Fiends. And that's it. Let's see here. Is there some difference compared to the American store? Let's see here. August 2nd. PlayStation Plus, of course. There's some new shit there. There's if you buy a yearly subscription, you get some new stuff. Or the bundle has changed up some new games you can get with. And Dragon Age, Galaga Legions DX, Warhammer 40k, Kill Them All, and Section 83 Justice. Some downloadable games there. Only a couple of games changing from that. There's Galaga Legions DX demo and a Warhammer 40k Kill Team demo. There are some add-ons which are pretty much the same as Europe. Core episode 39 is out. Gotta get that. Actually, this is one thing. Core subscription, annual subscription is gone. You can't annually subscribe it anymore. Or if I can, I'm gonna be pissed because it doesn't matter. The funny thing is, I've tried to I tried to subscribe last or before this month was over because I was just like, look, I want a subscription again, but I don't want to get PlayStation Plus, which is $50, which is way. I only want the core because I already have PlayStation Plus on my other account, and I just want the core because we don't have that over in Europe, or at least not in my country. There is some kind of core supplement in the UK, but it's UK only. So I was going to get that. Couldn't find the annual subscription anymore on the store and on the site. They said took it down. It's going to be implemented into the PlayStation Plus, which I found gay. So I'm hoping they're bringing it back. But at least this here episode, it says August edition annual subscribers only. So if for episode 39 is only annual subscribers, that's going to piss me off. But I haven't checked it out because I'm buying. I'm going to have to. Because I can't subscribe for core only, I gotta have to buy the episodes one at a time. So we're gonna have to see if that works out. Yeah, there's not a big difference compared to them. It's pretty much the same. No, not a big thing. Um, let's check out all the posts on joystick. Restart Steam here. Good. First off, Battlefield Free Alpha has been launched and it's actually over. Can't talk too much about it, but I can say I was in it and it's looking really, really great. Another thing is also that Batman Arkham City will have multiple costumes you can choose from. If you go to joystick size and try to look at it, try to find it, you will see that there are at the moment a picture of 6 different Batmans. The classic, the Batman from Arkham Asylum, the same costume there. There's the future Batman. There's a lot of things. There's a comic Batman. It looks really, really cool, but it looks like some of them are going to be pre-order available, but they should be also unlockable in the game later. That's going to be fun. Try checking them out. Those are really, really great. Looks really, really cool. Let's see here. Lord of the Rings War in the North begins November 1st. Looks like it's gonna be a hack and slash probably. I haven't really looked at it. It looks a little bit interesting from the screenshot they say, but let's check it out actually. Let's Google this here and the website is warofthenorth.com English. Insert your age. Yeah. Get going. It looks like it's gonna be more like let's watch the trailer really fast. It's gonna be a little bit like Mass Effect. It looks like it's mostly CGI. I haven't really figured out what the game is actually about. It's a Warner Bros. Game, of course, because Warner Bros. Actually owns the rights to. Let's check the overview of the game. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be a third-person adventure game of some kind of action RPG. It's co-op. An untold story, so it's good. It looks okay. It looks like it's gonna have 1 to 3 players co-op, so that means it's the party probably gonna be the dwarf, the elf, and of course the king himself. So it's probably gonna be that party at least, or some kind of party of 3 that's gonna go through adventures. Anyways, it looks pretty cool. The CGI is really, really impressive. So that's it. There are some previews of Rage also. Carmack is pushing that. Let's see, what else do we have? Need for Speed to Run Limited Edition is going to come with a trio extra supercar. Looks okay. Probably going to be the Bugatti Veyron, if I'm not mistaken. It looks a little bit like it, but who knows? Let's see here. And the funny thing is that since it's EA games like Battlefield, Need for Speed, it's Origin only, or at least for pre-order, it's Origin only for digital pre-order. So it's not going to come on Steam. And I'm betting we had this discussion here. I had it with a couple of the Speed gamers, Britt and Local and Tylo yesterday about is some of the EA games going to come to Steam and Nimble also, but I don't think so. I think, for instance, Battlefield 3, Michael Pachter made an estimate that saying around compared to the sales, it's probably going to sell around 3 or 4 million copies in total probably at first, and out of those, most of them are going to be consoles because Battlefield 3 is pretty much console related, but there's also a huge PC a PC core in that 4 million, and through that, not being on Steam is only probably going to hurt the sales around 100,000. That's his estimate. It's also all speculation. Could be worse. Could be no nothing at all. But I think the only problem that Origin has at the moment, because I have 2 games through Origins. I have the pre-order of Star Wars: The Old Republic, which was only Origin also, same as Mass Effect 3, same as every EA game that's coming out after E3 pretty much. Is going to be on Origin only. And I think with this, if I were EA, I would say we don't need Steam. We can make more money using our own service. And there will be, if you order through Origin, there are Origin bonuses. So if it were on Steam, or if you're buying it retail, you won't get some of the bonus items that you can get through Origin. So I don't know. I'm definitely agreeing with people that having a client more is annoying, but I don't think it's the end of the world. One thing that I'm still interested in actually finding out, how much does Valve actually make through Steam. I'm actually guessing they take around between 10 and 20% of the sale for themselves, for managing and stuff like that, all that. But that's a huge chunk. If EA can get that for themselves, having such huge game and so many good and big developers under their umbrella, I think they can definitely make a change, and maybe it's going to be better than people think. I don't know, but it's something to think about, and it's something to keep notice. Is it going to hurt? Because I like Steam. Steam has definitely the greatest sales on the PC, but there's also some things that keep it locked down, because it's how can I explain it? It's more like Steam is the only thing. Nobody else wants to go to the website. I find the client very well. The client was crap in the earlier days. The client really exploded to a great thing now, but I think it should be actually more like having more. I think the developers and the release people should have more control. I don't think they have that, and that's why they're probably switching. But I think PC, in my opinion, is definitely if you're a PC gamer, I think Steam, Origin, any digital distribution site that you want to use, that there is the right way to go. I don't buy physical copies for PC anymore, because I don't want to sit with a stupid CD that is actually slower to install than installing from a exit file on your PC, Mac, or whatever you use. So, and you can get it when it's released. PC games are actually, in my country, Denmark, it actually is a smaller portion when you go into GameStop compared to all the console games that are out there. It's harder to find PC games because they just go on Steam and buy it. So, anyways, and of course, if you pre-order Battlefield 3 from Origin beta access in September, so next month, people, if you order it. So, let's check out another thing that there has been talk about, or actually been shown. Go to I think it's Game Trailers, where you can also find it on Joystick. Actually showed some of the Assassin's Creed Revelations multiplayer. It looks really, really interesting. It looks great, the game. Check that out. Revelations, in my opinion, is going to be probably the best Assassin's Creed so far. In my opinion, Brotherhood is... It's not the best. I still like... I think Brotherhood is the best game as gameplay, but I still like the story, and especially the music from Assassin's Creed 2. But we'll have to see what relations hold for us. I definitely like the movies and all that they're doing. I'm definitely getting a collector's edition for it. Let's see here. Where do we have here? Game Love sales are up 15% in first half of of 2011. I can't actually remember what Game Love actually is made for, but let's check it out. Game Love, what games do they make? I think it's more their mobile games, pretty much. Come on, load. Yeah. They are a mobile client. They made Nova. They made Silent Ops, Dungeon Hunter. There's one. It's a really great dungeon crawler. They made a shitload of games for iPad, iPod, touch, smartphones, mobile games, all that. And mobiles, smartphones in general are selling like hotcakes at the moment. So that's understandable that they're profiting more. Dragon Age Legacy or Dragon Age 2 Legacy DLC reviewed is out. I haven't checked out Dragon Age at all, especially the second one. I hear it's really good. I still need to play the first one, which I have on Steam, but BioWare has a really weird way of doing DLC, especially what they did for Dragon Age, because you will see, for instance, like I remember seeing somebody playing it, and you will see like you go to a character and he can do some quests. One of the quests says, yeah, you can do this quest here, but you need this DLC, and that costs actually this amount. And I was just like, why the fuck do they put that in the game? If I don't have the DLC, I don't want to see that crap. Because it's only luring and it's going to piss you off and say, well, that quest sounds nice, but I'm going to have to buy this crap here. And it's just trying to lure people to buy it. So I really dislike that way. That way of marketing and trying to get people into buying the DLC, while with actually having DLC options in the game that are visible but not available without buying it. Let's see here, what else do we have? Of course, there was some great news yesterday or a couple days ago that Game Informer had a nice cover of Borderlands 2, which is, of course, Gearbox had said it was a no-brainer because the game is so great, Borderlands 1. And of course, I'm hoping it's going to be great. Also, it's still going to be, I think it's going to be interesting to see what they're doing. I'm hoping they're keeping the same characters, adding more and same classes. I hope you can import them, maybe level and all that, and through that you can do some nice things. I don't know, but it's definitely going to be interesting seeing how that's going to go. But it's going to be fun. Let's see here. They say the game will hit to Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, PC during K2's next fiscal year, which begins on April 1st, 2012. So we're talking after 2012 and probably maybe fourth or third quarter. Who knows? Maybe it's 2013, but you know definitely when it's estimate where it's hitting. And it's still going to be on Pandora, it looks like, but it's going to be awesome. There's still no game CGI trailer for it, but the cover looks awesome. Let's see here. What else do we have here? PAX has also been, let's see here, Microsoft Trading, blah, blah, blah. Mortal Kombat, Minecraft, Mini-Con conversation set for November 18 to 19 in Vegas. I'm not going to go to a Minecraft convention because that's probably going to be so gay. Because it's only going to be Minecraft. Convention about one big thing is just too much, but it looks like only one day, so it's going to be expensive to fly over there. But anyways, I'm skipping that. Let's see, a new DLC for Black Ops Resurrection, August 23rd this year. So looks like zombie stuff, but zombies in, go figure. Yeah, let's skip all this and head into some of the more interesting things that probably a lot of people I know the Speed Gamer has been talking about in their podcast, and I'm of course also gonna hit that up. Diablo 3 we're talking about. I'm actually been playing Diablo 2 with some of the Speed Gamers, and I'm dry. Anyways, it's an awesome game. Diablo 2 is an awesome game. Sadly, it's not hard to get working on Windows 7. It's just annoying. You have to patch it, and it still is a little bit buggy, especially launching it. But no matter. The game, Diablo 3, looks awesome. Right now, there's rumors of beta. They've announced that they are still hoping, or they're trying to do a this year release. Beta is set still for third quarter, which ends the September 30th. So late September, they promised a beta, and it looks like it's going to be region wide. The game is a lot different, or not different gameplay wise from the second and the first. But they've done a lot of changes to the gameplay, to the game, how it's played, the character progression. One big thing, and that's probably the thing that's gotten the biggest hype, is the new auction house, which is gonna be available in two categories. One for you can trade, and the second one of the auction, second part of the auction is trading for money, real money. And you can take money out. So they say it's implementing something they know is already being done, and it is going to be done without their consent, no matter what they do. So they said, why not implement it instead and have control and help out people not getting ripped off. For instance, that's probably the biggest thing that is in Diablo 2, or World of Warcraft, and so many other games out there, MMOs especially, and they have done some things to address this, that you have to be online to play the game. You can't be offline. So that means if you can't, there are two things about this not being able to play offline, is that, well, first off, back in the day we used to do LAN parties with Diablo 2. A couple of people got together at somebody's house and we played. The great thing about it that we don't have to have issues with latency, especially if you're playing a game where, well, latency can be an issue, especially if you're fighting bosses that are or have a lot of mobs and you can get killed without you noticing. We all know latency issues are hell. That's one thing that I really like to have to make LAN parties, where you don't have to really actually, well, think about latency. Everybody's is on the same level as everybody else. With being online, if you're having a crappy internet connection, or you just have latency issues because the servers are far away from you, that will be a problem. But that's just one con against a lot of pros. The pros for going online is, of course, security, especially for the auction house. That means doubling and all that, cheating, doubling money, or gold actually is the better way, because since it's going to have real money, better call it gold. So there's a lot of pros for that. Definitely understand why they're doing this decision. I definitely understand making an auction house internally, keeping control of it, and of course, people and with that they can keep control of hackers, abusers of the system trying to hack the auction house and all that, because they're probably going to scan your every detail you're doing frequently while you're playing the game. So a lot of benefits to it, keeping it more control. I could definitely understand why some people are, well, I don't live where I can stay on constantly with an internet connection. I want to be able to play on. Well, you have to take that in consideration. They can't satisfy all, but I think with not implementing it, you're just going to have a lot of trouble with people getting ripped off other ways around. So, but that's just the auction house. You can find a lot more information about blocks and all that, because there's a huge issue about it. So I'm not going to spend so much time about it. I don't really care, because I'm not going to use it. I'm going to play with my friends. We're going to share some stuff, and well, if I don't want to use the item, just going to sell it. Doesn't matter to me if I get real money for it. Could be fun though, but the problem is also that Blizzard, of course, will take a small fee from every transaction, probably transaction from pulling money out. That's what I'm thinking, but I haven't really read the specifics. But they're going to take a small part of your profit to maintain the service. That's the idea. And of course, they're probably going to make a small profit, but let's say it's not going to be like they're going to take $100 for each transaction. I think it's more like $5 or something we're talking about. Especially since if this auction house hits off, well, if 100 transaction happens every minute or every hour, that's $500. It's probably going to be even less. I'm probably getting like 50 cents or something, so it's going to be $50. And with that, because it's going to cost a lot of hardware and maintenance and all that, upgrading all that, and security surveillance for actually getting a secure system where people don't hack and actually cheat, rip people off for money, or stealing credit card information. So, definitely agree with that. Well, let's talk about the game. Beta, as I said, late this this quarter we're already in, and people are skeptic, and I'm skeptic as per the game not releasing this year, because if you go to YouTube and Google, and I was just gonna say Google, but if you search for Diablo free, Jay Wilson, which is one of the big heads behind Diablo, and listen to some of the 2011 talks he had with Force Strategies, or the guys that interview him about skill points, rune stones, how the AI scale and stuff like that. To me, and it's pretty new info he's giving, and it's pretty new interviews. It's a couple of days old. Through this, it really sounds like they're so far away from the game, but again, it's hard to see because we don't actually have played it yet. Say the beta is going to come soon for everybody. The game might ship this year. I'm betting next year. But if you, for instance, take how would the AI scale? We all know for former games, Diablo 1 and 2, that the AI is pretty well. The AI scales with, well, the powerful you get, the harder mobs will get, but still it depends on what act for Diablo 2 or what level in the dungeon you are in Diablo 1. And depending on the mob type you're fighting, So if you're at, for instance, let's go with Diablo 2 because that's probably the ones that most of you people know. I played Diablo 1 a long time ago. But Diablo 2, if you're at Act 1, uh, of course, the further you progress, the harder the mobs get and the higher the level are getting. But the way that he said it is a huge spreadsheet where they have skills and health and all that, and one thing. And one axe, the other axe, where it goes up, the levels, and through that they scale it up and down. For that, it's really interesting actually to hear about it. But I think it's pretty. I don't. To me, it sounds like there's not a huge scalable, but the way they do it is more like if this mob is like, is an average mob or a low mob, they take for all the stats and saying it's a level 5, but it has, instead of giving it a level 5 mob having, for instance, a damage hit between 10 and 20 damage per hit, it's like a mob like that has maybe 100% maybe. That's the standard mob. A low level mob, or not low level mob, but a weak mob maybe only have 50% of that damage ability, and boss mob or special mob might have to 300. The same goes with. It's an interesting way they're doing it, so it's a lot more scalable. It's he talks really specific about it, so I definitely recommend you checking that out. So the AI is not that different, in my opinion. The rune stones are probably, and the skill points are probably where the biggest changes have been made, because we know that from Diablo 2 that you have 100 levels. With each level you get 5 points. We're talking 5 skill points, and you get 1 point to put in a skill of your choice. And you can get access to more skills the higher your level is. So, and the last skills you get access to is level 30. So, what he's saying, he's comparing Diablo to what he's saying most people do is they go through the whole game without putting any points in the skill. And what people mostly do with the skill points, or stat points, skill points and ability points, attributes points, whatever you call them, is that they say, well, strength, we're just gonna put in the max amount we need to buy I lost my train of thought. To wear the armor that you need. So that's around 100, 120 points, around there. For dexterity, it's around 75, something like that. That's around what you get the basis, the best boost in attack and defense, the best stats for that, and nothing in energy, and the rest in vitality. That's pretty much the build that most people use. But he said that instead they took that away and ended up doing something completely different. Whereas we don't have to have that issue anymore. We will progress through it through your level, automated, and with stats from. You can boost it through your. For items just as you could in Diablo, but you won't have those 5 points, which is taking something away that's pretty. Well, what you can say, it's a variable for the game. You have to really consider what you're using your points each time. That can take a lot of time, a lot of effort actually figuring out. And if we didn't have respec, which was implemented later in Diablo 2, that you can respec your character, you were pretty much, there's no going back. Only if you want to grind your way level up to level 80 or what level you are to get access and redo your character in a different way. Skill points is the same thing. What they do, instead of focusing on putting points in different skills and progressing it, it's going to be like you can have a max of 7 skills. I think it is. Things can change, and I'm not totally correct because I haven't played the beta, I haven't had access to anything. But this is what I read and listen to from people saying. So some things might be wrong. So take it easy with the flaming. But anyways, that for what I'm thinking is that for each level you get, you can choose a from a pool of skills you have access to. For instance, you can probably pick Magic Missile and a Sorcerer's Shield. Those two abilities you can pick. You pick one of them, the one you want to use. And as you level up, it will automatically, for instance, the Magic Missile with damage will get higher or higher depending on what the level you are. So you don't have to check that out. So that's why they implement the runestones. Runestones, of course, is for people who don't know, and I didn't know until a couple of days ago, are stones or items that you put into your skills, making them more valuable and actually maybe changing the effect of your ability or skill or whatever you would call it. So, for instance, he gives an example with an indigo rune, saying if you put that into Magic Missile, it will split the Magic Missile into more missiles. So, for instance, if you put a level 1 indigo rune into a Magic Missile, it will split from 1 to 2 instead. Put a level 7 in, it will split from 1 to 8. So, that's how you do it. But the funny thing is, the way he's talking about upcoming changes or changes that might come, because they think they have a great system, but they think they might experiment with putting in something else. That means that the runes are pretty much going to be switched over to something that might not be, well, you don't know what the rune does. You just get a rune. It's a indigo rune or a crimson rune or something, and you don't know what it's going to do until you put it in a skill. The great thing about that is that you can still take it off, but as soon as you put it into a skill, it's going to be locked and there's going to be an effect on it. That means you've used the rune, but you can still put it away. But you can't put it anywhere else. So if you put it in a Magic Missile, it's going to get a Magic Missile indigo rune, a Magic Missile rune. It's going to have the ability to boost your Magic Missiles from 1 to 2 if it's level 1. And it's maybe going to get plus 10 for attack rating. Who knows? So that's really interesting, but that gives you a huge variable that you don't know what the rune's going to do to your skills. And if you have like seven skills and you're going to be like, well, have this rune here, got this indigo rune. I know if I put it here, it's going to do this because I did that before. But now I can't do it again. I have to find new rune and experiment with it. So you're going to have to go through a lot of runes to figure out what you want. He says, though, that they might, if they implement this is theory only. He says that also in the interview. I'm recommending really hard that you go and check this out. But he's saying that the runes will drop really frequently, or definitely so you have the ability to experiment. So you're going to toss pretty much runes left and right. The thing is that it's still like, since the runes are based on what ability you put it in, you will get different effects. Things might change because, well, that's one thing I haven't really figured out yet because I haven't really found the information yet. When you choose a skill from a pack will you get access to the skills that you didn't choose the level before? Or will that be like, well, you didn't choose these skills, you can't choose them again. And from what I hear, there's going to be around 30 skills in total you can choose from. And that's also one thing. What will you do? How will you... I haven't really seen information about what happens when you level up on a video, because that would be really interesting. Seeing how the choices are made on screen, saying, well, I'm level 2 now. Okay, I get access to 3 skills. I can only choose one. Which one do I choose? Or do I get access to 10 or 15? Or maybe a bigger amount, and I can choose whatever I want depending on, and constantly choosing the right ones you're more, but you only get 7. That means you're not, well, if you level up, that's might it might, well, let me explain it this way. If it's like, if it's only 7 you can get, or only 7 you can get, in my opinion, it's still going to be from 1 to level 100. It's going to be like, well, if you're going to spread this out equally, it's like maybe every 20 level you get access to an ability. That's going to suck. I hate waiting to get abilities, because the ability is what you want. That's what makes the character who it is. But will it be like, well, we get a shitload of skills, but you can only use 7 at a time, so you swap it comparing to the, for instance, let's say, well, I have the ability to keep me healed up and have a lot of defense, because when people get close to me, they can kill me because I'm a sorcerer, for instance, or somebody who's that weak, or weak in close combat. So I have something to support me, and do that. But then I can switch over depending on the situation, because okay, I see I have a huge lot of, they don't have a lot of hit points, I know. I can just boost my damage with these other skills. I can switch over and then kill them with just spamming an attack constantly, or maybe AoEing people. So that's something that I want to really figure out, or they really need to show, in my opinion. So how are you gonna get progression on these skills? Because I know I really like the idea that you only can have 7 at a time, but it really depends, because it's going to be making people doing hard choices if you can't get access to the skills that you missed, or if it's going to be like you get that every 20 levels. So, and on top of that, having to fill around with runes on top of it, it's really a lot of variables. So I think with all the choices you make, I think it's a great thing they took out the abilities and the skill points, so we don't have to worry about that, because I think a lot of brain a lot of your time thinking out what do I choose is important. And the other thing I'm also thinking about, are they gonna make you choose a skill? Like I said before, and Jay Wilson also said that most people just go through Diablo 2 and put the points in at the end of the game, or the end of the level, or not the end of the level, in the end of the higher levels. So they play for making the perfect build. This here they want you more to experiment, but making hard choices is like, well, I've seen games, for instance, in my time where you say, well, when you level up, for instance, when you can get from level 1 to level 5, but you will not get the bonuses and upgrades before you actually put points in. So you're going to be a level 1 that has 5 or 10 levels saved up, but you're still going to be at level 1. You're still only going to have the powers as a level 1. And the hit points and all that. Nothing is going to be added. So it's really interesting how to see, because if it's like, well, for instance, take like saying that if the skills are based like, well, the higher level you are, the more skills you have access to choose. Why would you select a skill at level 1 where you can wait to level 10 and maybe get some really, really cool skills? Because there may not be a respec, so you can actually respec and choose something different, because, well, got magic missile, now I want lightning orb or whatever it's called, and now I can undo it, and I'm stuck with it. Because what he's saying is that they want also, he gives an example with saying that normally most people in Diablo 2 take a fireball and then just fill it with points. What they want here actually saying, we don't want you to, or we don't encourage you to use Firebolt, the level 1 spell, through the whole game. We actually encourage you to take some of the higher skills and use that instead, because they are cool and they do more damage and you can use them in different ways. It's definitely different from what Diablo 3, and I think it's really, really interesting. So I'm it's a must buy. Also, actually, they are serious about doing a console version. Jay Wilson says in the co-op ending game console plans interview, that part of the interview is that if it makes sense and they can get it to work, where they say they don't want to port it, they want to build it for the console, but it's still going to be Diablo 3. It's not like they're going to build a new Diablo for the console, like for instance saying, well, Diablo 3 is going to be for the PC and Diablo 3 underground console, blah blah blah. It's going to be another story, but it's going to be perfectly matched for the PlayStation 3 or Xbox, stuff like that. Though they want Diablo 3 to be both. It's the same product. Just want to make sure that people feel that it's going to be built up from the ground. So if they can get that to work, and he says they're actually hiring people or looking for people that are interested in programming for it. So if they can get that to work, consoles. What people might not know is that Diablo has been on a console, and it's on the PlayStation 1. The first Diablo is on PlayStation 1. You can get that. It actually works pretty well. I played it, and there's no difference in my opinion from the PC version to that. Same game, all of it. The only thing is that, well, resolution, was crappy on both things. It was nicer to play on a bigger screen, but it all depends. But we all know that Blizzard is actually, they make really good games. They make games that they run on even older hardware. So it's not a crisis crisis game. So we know that. But really, really cool stuff. I hope you enjoyed this podcast here, and I hope that you will listen to the next one that's coming next week, hopefully. So, thanks for listening. Until next time.